Hey
Hello,
everyone, we're
It's your
back.
two favorite realtors.
We're going to talk to sellers today. A question we've been often having with pretty much every seller out there. You can guess the question.
So we say what price we feel that they should list at, and their first question is, but what if we list a little higher just to see what happens?
And it's because you think we got to leave room for negotiations, which is an understandable instinct. Nobody wants to leave money on the table, especially us. We don't want to leave any money on the table.
No.
But
After years of watching listings, we've been doing this for years, and after watching them move, or in most cases in our current market, sit across London, St. Thomas, Strathroy, everywhere in southwestern Ontario, that instinct usually works against you. So today we're going to break down a little bit of the reasons why that's not a great tactic.
so, first of all, when a listing goes live, what happens is that pre-approved buyers who are actively searching, they're the first that are going to know about this property. They have been searching in that price range, searching in that neighborhood, and so within the first 24 to 48 hours, they are going to get notifications and alerts through saved searches or their realtors, which is great.
Those are the people we want to target. That's peak exposure. They're the ones that are ready to buy. They're pre-approved, and what they're doing when your listing comes out, they're comparing your home to everything else they're seeing on the market currently.
Right. So if the prices line up with the market, and just so you know, buyers have tools, they are going to show up. Showings are going to get booked.
However, if it's priced above what the comparables in the area support, a chunk of those buyers or a good portion of that market will disappear. They'll never even see the listing. It gets filtered out of their search before the photos even load because it's above what their range is for the neighborhood.
And then once that early window passes, you don't get a chance to make a second first impression. You are now competing with every new listing that now comes in onto the market after yours in the next 24, 48 hours.
So that's obviously a danger, especially when you have a new property that's on the market. So why don't we take a second and just talk about the buyers who click through? Because a lot of them still don't book a showing because there's really no urgency. There's no reason for them to act quickly.
And I mean, there's a few things going on here, right there. So number one, math is not holding up. And I mentioned the buyers have tools. Well, there's apps out there, all kinds of apps that are allowing buyers to compare sales on their own phone before they even make a phone call. They don't need to wait for a realtor. They can look and see what is happening in the market and make that decision ahead of time.
Well, they need a realtor.
They do. But anyhow, continuing on.
Number two, buyers would skip that house that's priced higher than the rest of the neighborhood because they're confident, like every other consumer, that it's just going to sit for a little while. There's no urgency. Whereas if a home is priced right, they get a different reaction. They get FOMO, fear of missing out. And they will go ahead and they will book that showing because they have the urgency to see it because it's priced right.
So, again, talking about breaking the comparison, number three, buyers are shopping in a range. They're not going to look at something above their price range because there might be room for negotiation. So, by pricing yourself out of it, you don't even make it into the conversation for the buyer.
And that's the danger. You're not in the conversation because it just costs more to get excited about it, so buyers don't. And buyers really, they can tell the difference between a home that's worth maybe stretching for or a home that's actually just looking for them to pay more than the same house that's on the market just down the street. They're smart cookies.
And here's one people don't really expect. When buyers even genuinely like a home and they come back once, twice, maybe even 3 times, but they still don't write an offer.
It's not really about the house at that point. That's buyer's hesitation. And if a listing has been sitting a few weeks, buyers start assuming well, you know what? I bet a price drop is coming, so why act now? There's no urgency again. So we need to create that urgency.
And another way we can look at that is, or what we like to call it, is price anxiety. So years ago, people were okay with paying what they need to pay. But now, when that number's not been tested, buyers are actually worried about overpaying. If they act too early, maybe they paid too much.
True. Yeah. So there's a little bit of a social piece to this as well, because buyers don't necessarily want to offend a seller with a lowball offer and get caught in a wicked back and forth where people's noses get out of joint. In fact, an offer isn't likely to come at all. So instead of negotiating, they just wait, watch, and probably correctly hope that it's just going to come down.
So this is an interesting thing for sellers to think on, because they often ask, why doesn't someone just put in an offer? But that is not how buyers in this market is responding right now. They would rather see a property priced right before they put in an offer, because they don't want to play games.
It's true, Christine. We see this time and time again. It really doesn't matter what the product is. In this case, we're talking about houses, but it can be anything. If a buyer feels that the price is more than what they're willing to spend, they'll naturally just wait and see if it goes on sale. That's how consumerism works.
And the fix isn't necessarily more marketing. It's not, let's get fancier photos or new staging or we need another open house. That isn't what's going to bring buyers out.
It's not about us putting our face on your home.
Well, it could be.
It'll help for sure, but in all fairness, it comes down to pricing, clarity. A number that tells buyers that this home isn't going to sit around forever for them to wait, that it is ready to sell.
Now, we're not saying this is a one-size-fits-all situation across the entire area that we work in. London, St. Thomas, Strathroy, neighborhoods in between and outside, because everything does move differently, because there is different motivations and different thoughts for every neighborhood.
Absolutely. So a home in a London neighborhood with a tight inventory can sometimes support a little bit of a firmer number. However, the exact same home, same square footage in St. Thomas, Strathroy, Ilderton, buyers are weighing that against maybe the commute a little bit. So the pricing has to reflect that trade-off of that little bit of an inconvenience.
Which is why we are going to build every price recommendation to our sellers off the current local real-time numbers. Not just a rule of thumb, not last year's numbers, not 2023 numbers or 2022, but what is happening in the last 90 to 180 days.
Because that's really what's relevant to you if you're planning on selling your home. So if you're thinking about listing somewhere in Middlesex County, Elgin County, Oxford County, let's walk through the real-time comparables together for your street. We would love to spend that time with you and show you what's going on.
No pressure. Giving you a comparable market analysis is not a pressure at all. Real numbers are important. An honest read on where your home sits in the market today is very helpful.
And of course, we're going to put some links in the comments below. Let's get your home priced right the first time, because that's going to make the sale process so much easier for you and a little bit for us.
And again, looking for good-looking realtors?
Ta-da!
Curtis and Christine Siemens from the Siemens Home Team. We'd love to hear from you.
Give us a call.